All right, let's talk about evaluating function rules. So let's say we had smoothies at a store and you're selling smoothies, and you were charging $2.50 per smoothie. So your total cost of your smoothies that someone's going to buy. Someone comes into your store, your restaurant, they're going to buy smoothies. So their total cost of, we could say, S smoothies. So we don't know how many smoothies they're going to buy, but it's going to be, we're going to represent it with the letter S. To find the total cost of S smoothies, it's going to be the price times X. So this is again, it's just another way of another language that we are using to describe something you've been doing for a very long time. So I could say that the total cost of S smoothies is going to be the price times S. I meant to write, sorry. That would be confusing if I put an X there. Price times S. So whatever the price is, multiply it times S. So if you bought 2 smoothies, you would do $2.50 times 2. That's all this is saying. Something you've done lots and lots of times. So we are going to write it using function notation. So we're going to take this and we are going to rewrite it using function notation. Okay. So we're going to take this total cost of, and we're going to represent that like this with a T. And then S smoothies, we're going to show as parentheses S. This does not mean T times S. This means in function notation, this means total cost of S smoothies for is, we're going to put the equal sign, and then price times S, we'll put it down here, and it's going to be $2.50 times S, okay? Which actually usually in function notation we would even simplify it a little further and just represent $2.50 as 2.5 S, like that. So this is taking this information and we're writing it. This is called function notation. So when you see something like this, where you see a letter and then another letter in parentheses, and then whatever that letter is in parentheses over here as well, this is function notation. And this is not multiplication here. This is saying the total cost of S smoothies equals 2.5 times S. All right, so if I ask you to evaluate a function rule, that means you're going to take this function rule, okay, and tell me tell me the cost of 3 smoothies. So how much do 3 smoothies cost? And we're going to use the function notation to solve this, okay? Now where it's going to change is, now I know I'm buying 3 smoothies. That's S. The number of smoothies is S. So I'm going to write it as, instead of total cost of S smoothies equals 2.5 times S, I'm just going to rewrite it as total cost of 3 smoothies equals 2.5 times 3. And then to solve it, I'm going to multiply 2.5 times 3, which would give me 7.5. And so the total cost of 3 smoothies is 7.5, which we would need to change into money to make it make sense. So it'd be total cost of 3 smoothies is $7.50. So when you have a function rule, when you have this function notation, this function rule, then whatever quantity you're given in the problem, you take that number and you put it in for the variable in order to solve the problem. So now let's look at this problem right here. Number 2 says, use the function rule, function of x, that's how we read that, function of x equals negative 4 times x plus 12. Okay, that's our rule that we're going to be using. And we are solving for if we're finding the function of negative 7 and if we're finding the function of 3. So these are two separate problems that we're going to solve for. All that means is you're going to make x negative 7. And then you're going to do it a second time and you're going to make x 3. But we also need to use the function notation and actually write it down that way. So let me move the camera a little bit. That'll work. All right, so for this one, for the function of negative 7, so I'm going to start by writing my function rule again. Now I'm going to replace the x with negative 7. And then I'm going to go ahead and solve. So remember, this does not say f times negative 7. This is the function of negative 7. So that's just going to stay there this whole time. Negative 4 times negative 7 is positive 28. So then the function of negative 7 is going to be the sum of 28 and 12, which is 40. And so that's our solution right there. The function of negative 7 for this rule is 40. This means the answer is 40 if the x is negative 7. So now I want you to pause the video and I want you to do solve this same function rule, evaluate it for the function of positive 3, and then restart the video to make your work. All right, so we have function of x equals negative 4 times x plus 12. So we're going to plug this 3 in here. The function of 3 is negative 4 times 3 plus 12. Just rewriting that again. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. I just brought down that plus 12. And then the final function of 3, negative 12 plus 12 is going to get us 0. And so you should have 0 for that problem. The function of 3 for this rule is 0.